Keith Massey grew up in a great wrestling family. Mom and Dad, Lou and Denna, big-time wrestling influence for decades. I don't care if it's youth, high school, college, USA Wrestling, always there. Keith also had a big brother, two-time state champion, and an alternate on the '88 Olympic team, Greco-Roman. So he had a lot that was just the way it was in the Massey family. Keith became a two-time state medalist at Lewis Central High School, two-time national qualifier at UNI, a freestyle and Greco-Roman national champion. Keith went on to UNI after high school. Don Briggs, who is here, was the head coach. I was an assistant. I remember in our office having a couple talks about Keith Massey. Just knowing that this guy could really be an asset to the team if he figured it out. And at some point, Keith figured it out and really became a fan favorite. Someone you just love to watch because he went all out. Just fought his butt off the whole time. And many times doing that, even competing up a weight, didn't really matter to Keith. That was a beautiful thing, man. After you and I went back to coach at Lewis Central for 14 years at the school, but he taught youth through high school, last 8 years as head coach. And you know what? Some of these kids he started coaching as youth started really getting good. And some of the names you might know, Brandon Mason, Travis and Trent Paulson, the Kelgard brothers, and others. I actually went back, now I'm thinking Lewis Central. I went back in the history books to see all the schools that had won a state championship anywhere in western Iowa. Any school on the western side of our state. And the records start in 1926. Well, from 1926 to the year 2000, 74 years, no schools had won a state championship from western Iowa. Fort Dodge was the closest. That's 160 miles from Council Bluffs. But in 2000 and 2001, both, Lewis Central won both the dual meet and the individual state championships in Class 3A. In 2001, that state championship team had 6 state champions on the same team. 6 state champions on the same team. No school in Iowa history has ever had 6 state champions on the same team except your 2001 team. In 2002 was Keith's last year as head coach. Lewis Central finished second in the state. Keith has never left the sport, coaching his club teams to this day. I actually called him Sunday. I wanted to make sure I had it right, that there were 6 state champions on that team. And when I talked to him Sunday, he's at his club and already had been coaching individual sessions for 4 hours. His club's in Council Bluffs is called Powerhouse Wrestling Club. Keith Massey has been great for our sport as an athlete and a coach. Let's bring up our 151st Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame inductee, Keith Massey.
Look at some of the greatest wrestling minds in the world. That's awesome. I coach kindergartners. Gosh, it's such an honor to be here. Personally, my wrestling stories or coaching history is a bunch of thank yous. Starting, you go way back to 1960, before I was even born, when my first thank yous start. But, first and foremost, obviously, I need to thank the board. Appreciate you guys and everything you do in wrestling. The selection committee. I can't tell you what an honor it is to know you guys. So many of you, Bill Roths, just what a great job. Loved watching you referee. Tom Fry, just really appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you both for all you have done and what you do in wrestling. Dan Gable, what an inspiration you have been to millions, literally millions of wrestlers, going from the very smallest, youngest wrestler to even those who untie their shoes in the middle of the mat after they're done with their career. Jim Gibbons, you and your brothers were some of my wrestling heroes growing up. Like Tim and you, Joe, Jeff. It was great. You know what? Joe gave me a picture a few years back of me and you and my brother at a wrestling camp in Emmitsburg, Iowa. I think I was like 9 or 10. And I was like, wow, you and your brothers, 10 state championships? Jeff Kerber was in there, 4 state championships with him. His brother, I think, won a state championship. The Kaufman brothers, they had multiple state championships. Mike Van Osbury, my brother got 2 of them. I was the only one in the picture without a state championship. It's like, what? I kind of made up for it. Kyle Klingman. Can't tell you what an honor and a pleasure it is to see you at these great wrestling events. And let the record show, I walked up here, didn't knock anything over, didn't break anything. Just super proud. It was pretty bad last time. Jason Christensen, always a pleasure to see you every spring, every summer, up at Fargo, wrestling camps. We spent the last 30 years together in the spring and summer, going up to Fargo, doing Camp Dodge, just everywhere. It's been such an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for everything you've done for Iowa USA Wrestling. Thank you for what you've done for USA Wrestling. Good luck with your new gig. Coach Jim Miller, Mill Boy. I can't tell you all the motivational little tricks I stole from him. Like, I was never really the strongest guy on the team, and I may have missed a morning lift. He'd come up to me and just go, "Yeah, you're strong enough." Just walk away. I'm like, oh, jeez. To the other inductees, wow, what an honor to be inducted with you all. To the family of Mr. Keith Abens, boy, congratulations on what a great honor. Just after reading, researching, listening to some of the great stories Joe told, what an honor it is to be inducted in the same class. Perry Hummel, I loved watching you in my high school years on Iowa Public Television. You really made me work harder. I appreciate that. Brad Smith, I cannot tell you what an honor it was and how much fun I had coaching against you. Seriously, you guys made us over in Western Iowa work harder. You absolutely did, and I think our rivalry really provided for some really good entertainment, no doubt about it. Bobby Hallman, man, I tell you, thanks for being such a great teammate. And all those meetings we had at Bose, boy, that was super important. When you got up at the end of practice and say, "Hey, I got a team meeting at Bose at 5 o'clock," and I showed up. I didn't say, there wasn't a whole lot of other people there, but also, really, thanks for that inside trip. I stole it. You don't know how many people I've taught the number of ways you can hit an inside trip. I really appreciate that. Thanks to my dad. He was my first coach who wouldn't let me quit. Who'd have thunk? Even though I cried like from every practice from the age of 5 to 8, I was horrible. I got crushed about every day. But all he did was just like pat me on the butt, keep going, just do your best. Just do your best. Just do your best. All right, I'll just keep doing my best and apparently keep crying. To my mom, my first cheerleader and still my biggest cheerleader, the backbone of so many tournaments for Iowa USA Wrestling throughout my youth and beyond. Just so many stories I could tell about gosh, she's always been at USA Wrestling events from when I was a little kid all the way up. And the number of sacrifices those two have given for my brother and I, and what a great honor it's just to look back at all those sacrifices they give. I could go on and on. Both of whom are in the Council Bluffs Hall of Fame, and my mom beat me in she was inducted into the Iowa Chapter National Wrestle Hall of Fame, Glenn Brand and Dan Gable Museum before I was. So rightly deserved too, because she worked her butt off. Both not only for the state of Iowa, but regionally and nationally for USA Wrestling. Going back to 1960, Leo Cash started the Council Bluffs Recreation called the Rec. And we wrecked everybody around that area, mostly because of my dad coaching. But he was that was my first team, and he was my first coach. He's got great lineage. Both of his grandsons are now head coaches in Council Bluffs. August is at my alma mater, Lewis Central, and Adam is at Abraham Lincoln. So great lineage there. But by the way, wouldn't you love to be at the Thanksgiving dinner table with those two head coaches just going at each other? Thanks to my brother Louie, who literally beat the crap out of me both on and off the mat. But without those beatings, you know what? I wouldn't have kept grinding. Even guys in like my freshman year in high school, I identify with that. As far as not getting a takedown, it took me 2.5 months until I got a takedown. I called home. Of course, we didn't have cell phones. Called collect. Dad, I finally got a takedown. It's the truth. Todd Clapper. I normally don't tell a lot of this. Nobody knows Todd Clapper right now except just us. But Todd Clapper was the catalyst of my coaching career. Some of you may know, going at the barn, you're there, you're looking at your bracket, right? You're like, okay, if I win this, and then I'm going to wrestle that guy, and then if that guy wins, then he'll never works out the way you want it, right? But I heard somebody down here go, all right, I got a kid from Lewis Central. That kind of ticked me off. So I turned to my best friend next to me, and I go, his name's Tim Kovic. He was from Abraham Lincoln, but I go, Tim, I want to go back to Lewis Central and coach and put them on the wrestling map. That kind of worked out. So anyway, got to thank my high school coach, Richard Bleff, who was also the head coach my first 6 years there. He taught me how to run a program, and he said integrity was big with him. He said, if we're going to win the right way. And, of course, do your best. Always, we got to do our best. So my dad told me to do my best. Richard Blatt tells us to do our best. Might as well. College coaches. Hallman was not only a good teammate, but he was a great coach for a year. Keith Morlam, what a great technician. John Krebs taught me how to ride guys on my toes, hips down. Obviously, Mill Boy and all his greatness. That was awesome. Coach Don Briggs. Thank you, Briggsy, for all you do. All you did for wrestling, for you and I wrestling. I don't know, maybe a few of you saw his little video about me in my junior year wanting to quit. Well, his story's a little different than mine. Just to let you know. 4 things are true. Number 1, I wanted to quit. Not only did I want to quit wrestling, I wanted to quit school. I just wanted to quit everything. Number 2, he didn't let me quit. My dad didn't let me quit. He didn't let me quit. All right. Number 3, I did ask to defer the defer. Coach, or the late great Mike Allen was a referee. Number 4, I changed my attitude. It's amazing what you can do and how much better you feel, how much more fun you can have when you change your attitude. We were talking on the phone. I gave him a call, and I'm like, yeah, Briggsy, I'm not coming back. He's like, yeah, you're not coming back to train for the next tournament? I'm like, no, I'm not coming back. Oh, I'm quitting. He's like, I'm not going to let you quit. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not going to let you quit? Or you're not going to let me quit? It's like, yeah, I'm not going to let you quit. You're going to come back. You're going to take 2 weeks off. You're going to come back at this time, this day, and blah, 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 right? So I hung up. Then I got really tough after I hung up. I was like, you're not going to let me quit? I'll show you. I'm going to quit anyway. I'm definitely quitting. So after about a week, I was like, all right, if he's not going to let me quit, I'm just going to have fun. And I've been having fun with wrestling ever since. So next, thank you. By the way, thanks, Coach Briggs. Really, really appreciate that. So like my father, Coach Bleff, all he did was Briggsy, right, with Morningstar, Hallman, all he asked us to do was our best. Got to thank all my teammates from the Rex to Lewis Central High School to all the workout partners in the off season, to all my UNI teammates. All you guys have a little part inside of me. It makes me the coach I am today. Thank you, Mark Schwab. Mark Schwab, who has a great technician, of course, teammate, calls me out of the blue. It's like, hey, I heard you need an assistant coach. First year head coach. I'm like, yeah. So that worked out really well. Dan and Doug Kelgard also came back to help coach. Lee Smith, Ryan Barker. Doug Anderson, All-American for Coach Gable. Gary McCall, 3-time All-American for Iowa State. Mark Schwab. Those guys helped me build those great teams that we had. And of course, literally, thousands of wrestlers. I've coached thousands of wrestlers. Man, I'm old. Man, that's a lot. To all those guys who buy in 100%, a lot of you guys know, once you buy in 100%, you get somebody buying in 100%, great things are going to happen. So whether it's coaching my little 5 and 6 year olds like John, Ranger, Dawson, or AJ, maybe some of the high school guys like Doug or Chad or Dan or Jeff or Todd or Kirk or Tyrone or Brandon or Blue or Nick or Brian well, there's Gable and there's Wyatt and there's Matt and there's Jason and there's Corbin. Anyway, the list goes on. All those guys, I've tried to keep that same philosophy of life lessons through wrestling. Let's not forget some of those world level guys like David or Zach, Isai, of course, Trent and Travis. You know, Trent was up here last year telling a little story about, that one time where they were like 10 or 9 or 10, we're doing a little personal training, and they kept looking at each other. I'm like, okay, put your hand here, and then put your foot there, and okay, ready? And they go, wuss. I'm like, just be quiet and just do the technique. Weakling. Just be quiet, dude. I had to step out, literally had to walk outside and go, do I really need this in my life? They helped me understand that it wasn't that they were being disrespectful. It was their absolute, they wanted to beat each other so bad and then beat their opponents so bad that they just couldn't leave it alone. Just couldn't leave it alone. So, but honestly, those guys are easy to coach. You know, like Millboy says, those guys make me look like I know what I'm doing. He said that. He's right. Those guys were motivated. They wanted to get better. They really wanted to win. They had the passion, the dedication, the willingness. You know, they would go the extra mile. But it's the guys like Keith Nestor. Thanks for making the trip, Keith. Awesome. You know, guys like Tim Stevens, Justin Rao, and a young boy that I'm coaching right now. Keith, who made the trip tonight, what an honor for me to have you here, by the way. You know, his senior year didn't go the way he wanted to. Very few wins, a lot of losses. Most of those losses, not through the lack of effort, 1 or 2 point losses, or he was ahead and got turned and pinned, or something happened to where he just didn't have the senior career, the senior year that he wanted. And in his words, he was like, again, going back to life lessons through wrestling. The lesson you taught me have never left me. I've always wondered what kept me in wrestling when I was so clearly not cut out for it. But I realized it was God using you to show me inner strength I need to apply to the hard things in life that would come later and to help me teach others. Yeah, life lessons. Absolutely. Guys like Tim Stevens. Tim Stevens never won a handful of wrestling matches in his whole youth career. As a matter of fact, his freshman and sophomore career, he was 5-53. 3 of those 5 were forfeits. But all those drills that he did when he was a kid, that lifting weights that his dad made him do. And finally, the hormones kicked in. He's 28-11 as a junior and a state qualifier. Those are the kids. It's Justin Rao, who was a state place winner and an All-American for Grandview. And then he was also wrestling in the Air Force and went around to some of the world's greatest wrestling programs. But as a youth, he hated wrestling. I can't tell you the number of times he would be getting crushed and say, I hate this sport. I hate this sport. And then his senior year, we're in Fargo. He's in the blood round. He loses. He comes back. He kneels down. He looks at me and goes, I'm sorry. He was sorry because he lost. And I'm thinking to myself, sorry. And I say to him, I didn't think you would ever make it this far. He didn't quit. He kept going. He's gone around the world and trained with some of the greatest wrestlers in the world at the greatest program. And as he said in his words, that created the foundation of who he is today as an E6 technical sergeant in the Air Force. Or it could be like the boy I'm coaching right now, who all his last 5 or 6 years gone to the local tournaments, big tournaments, Tulsa, all the big tournaments, he's going to them. He may not even win a match at those big tournaments. Rarely wins one of those local tournaments. But as a matter of fact, I asked his mom, I go, so what's his record at the state tournament? She looks it up a little bit. She's like, I think it's 4-7. 4-7 at the state tournament. Now, I'm glad he qualified. Sometimes he got 4th place at the districts, and so he qualified barely. But he's 4-7. And this year, he got 5th place, ending his youth career on a win. 5th place. That's awesome. So my final thank yous go out to my family, my wife Patty, for putting up with me and my crazy schedule for 33 freaking years. You kidding me? 33 years. My kids, Madison, thanks to you and your family for coming this whole way. Hunter, really appreciate you guys coming up. Brock, Gabby, Sailor, I appreciate all of you guys and your never-ending support for me. Again, I want to thank the board, the selection committee, and all of you out there for what you do and what you will continue to do in wrestling. Thank you.